Well, scientists in the Amazon rainforest may have found the world's biggest snake.
It can grow as big as 24 feet long and weigh around 1,100 pounds.
The Amazon River is home to giants, predators, and parasites like the massive arapaima, shocking electric eel, and creepy kangaroo. Ready to meet the monsters lurking beneath? Let's get right into it. The arapaima, also known as the pirarucu, is a prehistoric titan of the Amazon River. I mean, just look at the size of it. It is one of the largest freshwater fish in the world, reaching lengths of up to 10 feet and weighing as much as 440 pounds. This immense fish has been swimming in the Amazon for millions of years, even before the time of the dinosaurs. Its striking appearance with its shimmering armor-like scales make it look like something out of an ancient world. And what's especially remarkable about the arapaima is its air-breathing ability. Unlike most fish, it has a specialized swim bladder that allows it to breathe air, making it capable of surviving in oxygen-depleted waters that would be deadly for most other fish. And the arapaima's adaptation makes it almost indestructible to predators like piranhas, who are often no match for its size. But its ability to breathe air also makes it more vulnerable to humans. These fish must surface every 15 to 20 minutes to gulp up air, which makes it an easy target for fishermen. Due to overfishing and habitat destruction, these fish were pushed to the brink of extinction in the 90s. Thankfully, conservation efforts led by indigenous tribes in the region have helped restore their numbers. Today, the arapaima remains a keystone species in the Amazon ecosystem, playing an important role in maintaining the balance of life in these waters. Few creatures are as synonymous with danger in the Amazon as the green anaconda. This massive snake can grow up to 29 feet in length and weigh over 550 pounds, making it the heaviest snake in the world. While anacondas are non-venomous, they are exceptional at constricting their prey. Using their immense size and strength, they can just squeeze the life out of animals like capybaras, caimans, and even jaguars. What makes the green anaconda so terrifying is that, but also its stealth. Often lurking beneath the water's surface, it can ambush unsuspecting prey with lightning speed. These snakes have earned a place in Amazonian folklore where they are seen as mystical guardians of the forest. And sightings of green anacondas attacking are rare. The fear they inspire is rooted in truth though. Their sheer size and strength make them capable of overpowering just about anything that crosses their path. And because they live in the murky waters of the Amazon, many believe these creatures are far more dangerous than they've been given credit for. Now, at first glance, the electric eel may seem like an unassuming fish, but it is anything but ordinary. This knife fish can unleash a jolt of electricity as powerful as 860 volts, enough to stun or incapacitate its prey. Now, despite its name, the electric eel is not actually an eel. It belongs to a group of fish called knife fish. It thrives in the slow-moving, muddy waters of the Amazon and has 3 specialized organs that allow it to generate electricity. Electric eels use their powerful shock for multiple purposes, including hunting, self-defense, and navigation. When hunting, they can immobilize prey in an instant, making them formidable predators in the river. Early explorers were shocked, literally, by their electric bursts, with some accounts claiming that even horses wading through the river were incapacitated. Today, scientists are studying the electric eel's ability to generate electricity, hoping to unlock secrets that could be applied to bioelectric technology in the future. But for now, the electric eel remains one of the most shocking creatures in the Amazon. Most people associate bull sharks with saltwater, but these aggressive predators can thrive in freshwater environments as well, including the Amazon River. Bull sharks are known for their remarkable ability to survive in both saltwater and freshwater, which allows them to travel far inland. In fact, they've been documented as far as Peru, making them one of the few shark species capable of entering the Amazon. What makes bull sharks especially terrifying is their reputation for aggression. With a bite force of over 1,300 pounds, these sharks are capable of taking down some pretty large prey. Their presence in the Amazon adds a new layer of danger to an already treacherous environment. While sightings of bull sharks are pretty rare, their ability to adapt to freshwater habitats makes them an unpredictable and dangerous river monster. The kangaroo, often referred to as the vampire fish, is one of the most feared and misunderstood creatures in the Amazon. This small parasitic catfish is infamous for its ability to enter human orifices. Though many of these stories have been exaggerated over time, in reality, reality, these fish primarily prey on fish by attaching itself to their gills and feeding on their BLOOD. But its reputation for seeking out human orifices has made it a subject to some pretty gruesome stories. At less than an inch long, the vampire fish is hardly intimidating in terms of size, but its backward-facing spines make it a pretty effective parasite, allowing it to latch onto its prey with terrifying precision. Scientists are still fascinated by how this fish is able to locate its prey in the murky waters of the Amazon, relying on its ability to sense the chemicals released by fish. While the stories about them attacking humans are largely myths, the fish's real behavior is enough to earn its place on this list of river monsters. At first glance, the pacu fish might appear harmless, but its human-like teeth and its powerful bite make it one of the more unsettling creatures in the Amazon. Related to the piranha, the pacu is a primarily herbivorous fish that feeds on nuts, fruits, and seeds. Its teeth, which resemble those of humans though, are designed for crushing, not tearing flesh. But despite its plant-based diet, the pacu has occasionally bitten swimmers, leading to chilling legends of its aggressiveness. And now, although rare pacu attacks on humans have happened, fueling stories of the fish's aggression. Its human-like teeth are also just creepy looking, and it makes it seem like a fish caught between two worlds. Part herbivore, part predator, and all creepy. For many, the pacu remains one of the Amazon's most curious and unnerving creatures. The giant otter is a formidable predator in the Amazon River, earning its nickname river wolf. These 6-foot-long otters are social creatures, hunting in packs to take down prey much larger than themselves. They're known to hunt caimans, anacondas, and other large animals with their sharp teeth and coordinated attacks. Giant otters are highly territorial, and while they often display playful behavior, they can also be incredibly aggressive when protecting their territory. Despite their reputation for being cute and playful, which they are, giant otters are far from harmless. Their pack mentality and efficiency as hunters makes them one of the most formidable creatures in the Amazon. When they feel threatened, they can turn violent, using their powerful jaws and sharp teeth to defend themselves and their family. The giant freshwater stingray is one of the largest and most dangerous creatures in the Amazon. It can grow up to 16 feet in length and weigh over 1,300 pounds. These enormous rays are equipped with a venomous spine capable of delivering excruciating pain, making them a threat to anyone who gets too close. The giant stingray is a bottom dweller, often hiding in the sandy riverbeds of the Amazon, which makes encounters rare, but memorable in not a good way. Now, their size and venomous sting are enough to make them terrifying, but it's their elusive nature that makes them even more mysterious. The giant freshwater stingray's ability to blend into the riverbed makes it nearly invisible to the untrained eye, but when they strike, they deliver a painful blow that can cause serious injury or even death. The red-bellied piranha is perhaps the most infamous of all Amazonian fish. With their razor-sharp teeth and their insatiable appetite, these fish are known for their feeding frenzies, where they strip the flesh off a carcass in a matter of minutes. While piranhas are more scavengers than hunters, their aggressive reputation is not entirely unwarranted. Their feeding frenzies, though often exaggerated in movies like Piranha and Piranha 3D, and there's tons of piranha movies, too many piranha movies. When conditions are right, piranhas can become an unstoppable force of nature. Piranhas are not as dangerous to humans as their reputation suggests, but they can pose a threat if provoked or in times of desperation. In the Amazon, where food is sometimes scarce, a group of piranhas can become a terrifying sight for anyone who ventures into the water. The Bato, or Amazon river dolphin, is one of the most mysterious and fascinating creatures in the Amazon. Not only is it famous for its pink color, it's also surrounded by myths and legends. Indigenous stories describe these things as shape-shifting entities that come ashore to seduce humans, further adding to its mysterious allure. And while these myths are interesting, the Bato's biology is just as captivating. The Amazon river dolphin has a unique set of adaptations that allow it to thrive in the murky waters of the river. Its flexible neck and bulbous forehead, used for echolocation, make it perfectly suited for navigating in dark, silty waters. The river dolphin is highly intelligent and social, living in small groups. While it's not dangerous to humans, its mythical status and unusual features make it one of the most fascinating creatures in the Amazon. These river monsters prove the Amazon River is a place where the line between myth and reality can be blurred sometimes. Each creature plays a role in the delicate ecosystem of the river, and each adds to the Amazon's reputation as one of the most mysterious and dangerous places on Earth. From the massive Arapaima to the elusive Bado, the creatures of the Amazon continue to captivate researchers and adventurers alike.
Deep in the heart of the Amazon, where the thick jungle swallows secrets and the winding rivers conceal mysteries, legends of ancient creatures persist. Could relics of a prehistoric past or mythic beings still be hiding among the dense foliage and murky waters? From verified living fossils to spine-tingling cryptids, these mysterious sightings suggest the possibility that ancient creatures may yet be lurking in one of the world's most unknown rainforests. Have you ever wondered if a colossal serpent still lurks beneath the surface? Our journey begins with the legend of the Yakumama, a name that translates to Mother of the Water. Indigenous tribes have long told tales of a gigantic, serpent-like creature inhabiting the deep, dark waters of the Amazon. According to these stories, the Yakumama is said to be so massive that its mere presence can cause the water to churn violently, and its roar can be heard echoing through the jungle at night. While no concrete scientific evidence confirms its existence, some researchers speculate that these accounts might be distorted memories of ancient giant anacondas or even undiscovered reptilian species. The idea is that remnants of prehistoric reptiles, possibly akin to ancient water-dwelling creatures from past eras, could have adapted to life in the Amazon's labyrinthine waterways. Could a massive fish be a living relic from prehistoric times? The Arapaima is one of the Amazon's most impressive residents, and it might just be a window into an ancient aquatic past. Known as one of the world's largest freshwater fish, the Arapaima can grow to lengths exceeding 10 feet. Fossil records hint that its lineage dates back over 50 million years, meaning that while the creature itself isn't exactly ancient in the mythic sense, its genetic heritage is a living link to eras long gone. Local fishermen sometimes speak of these fish with awe, attributing almost mystical qualities to its presence. Its prehistoric appearance, combined with its very elusive nature, has led some to speculate that it could be a surviving remnant of an age when giant fish dominated freshwater habitats. With its armored scales and powerful build, this fish is not only a biological marvel, but it's also a symbol of the Amazon's enduring secrets. One of the Amazon's most terrifying cryptid was actually a surviving giant ground sloth. Step into the eerie realm of the Mapinguari, a creature that has haunted local folklore for centuries. Described as a hulking bipedal beast with shaggy fur, a single enormous eye, and even a gaping mouth on its belly, the Mapinguari has been a subject of fear and fascination. Some researchers theorize that the legend of the Mapinguari might be based on sightings of surviving ground sloths, a group of massive mammals that once roamed South America during the Pliocene epoch. Although these giant sloths went extinct thousands of years ago, a few tales and unexpected encounters have led to the persistent question: could a living descendant have somehow survived, hidden away in the vast, impenetrable forest? Whether a case of mistaken identity, folklore exaggerated over time, or a mysterious surviving relic of the past, the Mapinguari continues to be one of the Amazon's most captivating mysteries. Ever seen a reptile that looks like it stepped straight out of the Jurassic? The black caiman is not only one of the fiercest predators of the Amazon, but also a living fossil whose lineage traces back millions of years. These powerful reptiles have hardly changed in form since the time of the dinosaurs, with their heavily armored bodies, razor-sharp teeth, and stealthy hunting tactics. Black caimans are as formidable as they are ancient. Their evolutionary stability has fascinated scientists who regard them as direct links to prehistoric ecosystems. Despite modern pressures, these apex predators continue to thrive in the murky waters of the Amazon basin, reminding us that sometimes the most ancient survivors are the ones best adapted to their environment. Their very existence raises compelling questions about the nature of survival and the deep history embedded in the world's longest river systems. Imagine encountering a turtle so massive it seems like a relic from another era. Meet the Arau turtle, one of the largest freshwater turtles in the world and a true denizen of the ancient Amazon. Amazon. With a carapace that can exceed 2 feet in length and a lifespan stretching over a century, these turtles have been around since the time when the rainforest itself was taking shape. Indigenous communities have long regarded these turtles with a sense of reverence and mystery, sometimes even as a symbol of endurance and wisdom. Their slow, deliberate movements and almost prehistoric appearance give the impression that they are time travelers from a long-lost age. Conservation efforts are underway to protect these gentle giants, but their elusive nature only adds to the allure. Could they be one of the many living relics that serve as a window into Earth's distant past? Could a charming river dolphin be more than just a pretty face? The Amazon river dolphin, affectionately known as the bodo, has enchanted locals and scientists for centuries. With its striking pink hue and playful antics, the bodo is steeped in folklore and mystery. Many indigenous legends suggest that these dolphins possess magical qualities, capable of shape-shifting into handsome humans during moonlit nights. While these tales are clearly steeped in myth, there is an element of ancient wonder in the lineage here. Genetic studies reveal that river dolphins have a long evolutionary history, adapting over millions of years to thrive in the complex waterways of the Amazon. Their curious behavior and unique appearance not only make them a favorite subject of river lore, but also a living reminder of the deep, mysterious history that courses through the veins of the rainforest. What secrets does a bizarre, flat-bodied toad hold from prehistoric times? Next up, we are talking about the Suriname toad, also known as Pippa pippa, a creature that looks as if it were designed by nature to confound our expectations. This amphibian's flattened, almost leaf-like body, along with its strange, almost otherworldly reproductive habits, make it one of the most unusual inhabitants of the Amazon. The female Suriname toad carries her fertilized eggs embedded in the skin on her back, where they develop into tiny toadlets before emerging into the world, a reproductive strategy that is as bizarre as it is effective. Fossil records suggest that its ancestors have been around for millions of years, surviving dramatic shifts in climate and landscape. The Suriname toad is more than just a curiosity, it is a living relic from a time when Earth's ecosystems were vastly different, offering us a glimpse into the evolutionary experiments of the ancient past. Do you think a snake that once coexisted with dinosaurs might still be slithering through the undergrowth? The Amazonian boa constrictor is a prime example of nature's ability to stand the test of time. Boas have been around since the age of the dinosaurs, and their basic body plan has remained largely unchanged for over 100 million years. Known for their method of ambushing prey and constricting with immense strength, these snakes are the embodiment of primal efficiency. Their presence in the Amazon is so ubiquitous that many locals consider them a natural part of the landscape. Yet, the sheer ancient lineage of the boa, coupled with the occasional reports of exceptionally large specimens, fuels speculation that there may be undiscovered giants among them. As we explore the dense underbrush and the winding waterways, the idea that these serpents could harbor secrets from a bygone era is both thrilling and definitely very terrifying. What if a monster fish, whispered about in hushed tones, was a relic from a bygone era? The Piraba catfish holds a fearsome reputation as one of the largest freshwater catfish in the Amazon. Weighing in at several hundred pounds and stretching over 7 feet long, this elusive fish is more than just an oversized predator. It's a symbol of ancient, unyielding power. Local fishermen have long shared stories of monstrous catfish lurking in the depths, with sizes that defy common expectations. Genetic studies suggest that catfish as a group have ancient origins that stretch back to the early freshwater ecosystems, making them living relics of evolutionary history. These catfish' imposing size and mysterious nature continue to spark both scientific curiosity and local folklore, as communities wonder if such a creature might be one of the many surviving echoes of a prehistoric world. Could a mischievous forest guardian be more than just a myth? Our final point takes us into the realm of indigenous folklore with the story of the Curupira. Described as a small, elusive figure with flaming red hair and backward-facing feet, the Curupira is said to protect the jungle from those who would exploit its resources. While clearly a mythological figure, some speculate that this legend could be rooted in ancient encounters with real creatures, perhaps misunderstood sightings of rare, reclusive animals whose strange appearance and behavior inspired stories over generations. The Curupira embodies the mystery and unpredictability of the Amazon, serving as a symbolic guardian of its ancient secrets. Whether purely a creature of myth or a distorted memory of a forgotten species, the legend of the Curupira reminds us that in the Amazon, the line between myth and reality is deliciously blurred. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have pink dolphins. There's a few weird things going on with these guys, but let's start with the most obvious, which is of course their color. These residents of the Amazon River are the largest of all river dolphins, and adults end up acquiring a strange pink coloring, which is more prominent in the males. Scientists aren't exactly sure why these guys are pink or why their color comes later in life, as they are born with a more gray color that is usually expected of dolphins. There are of course theories as to how they get their colors, however, with the most common being the thought that the color is brought on by scar tissue that results from either rough games or fighting with other pink dolphins or predators. I said at the beginning of this point that they are strange for a few reasons, and while their super unique and gorgeous color is one, the other has less to do with them and more about a very interesting legend that surrounds them. Legend goes that these dolphins actually transform into very handsome men in the evenings, and during this time they hypnotize and seduce young women before turning back to dolphins again near sunrise. The origins of this myth are rooted in some pretty dark cover-ups, so I think it's best if we just lay that one to rest and let these dolphins not take the blame for humans' awful behavior. In our number 9 spot today, we have the boiling river. It is pretty common knowledge that the Amazon is home to the longest river in the world, but there is another river found in the Amazon rainforest that is equally as astonishing, but for a very different reason. The boiling river got its name for being exactly that, as it is a river that is near a boiling point at all times. The water temperature reaches up to 93 degrees Celsius, which is just shy of the boiling point, and the steam coming off of the surface of the water is an obvious warning to all living creatures that it is absolutely unswimmable. You could, however, poach an egg in this river, although that's probably not the recommended cooking method. There is still debate around the source of heat for this river, but as of right now it is believed to be entirely natural and geothermal. Despite the river not being near any active volcanoes or geothermal vents, it is quite an anomaly. There are of course more local legends that state the river is a place of power and that the Mother of Waters is responsible for the creation of this incredible and strange river. Either way, just don't swim in the river and everything will be fine. In our number 3 spot today, we have the corpse flower. Okay, we're back with another strangely large thing, and this time it is another flower that is called the corpse flower, which is a terrible nickname for a flower. This flower is deep green on the outside and a beautiful burgundy color on the inside, and it also features the world's largest unbranched inflorescence in the world. Both male and female flowers grow inside of the same inflorescence, but the females bloom first, with the males following in a day or two, which usually prevents the flowers from self-pollinating. These plants usually require 7 to 10 years before the initial blooming period, and after that, the blooming tends to be fairly sporadic. Some will take another 7 to 10 years, and some are able to bloom every other year. As the flower blooms, it is around human body temperature, which allows for its scent to be quite prominent, which you think would be nice, but apparently this is another flower that smells like a rotting corpse, which is where it gets its awful nickname from. These odors, however, are super helpful to the plant as it allows it to attract pollinators, which are usually insects that like to feast on rotting flesh. So I guess while the scent is unbelievably unpleasant to humans, at least there are creatures that are more helpful to this flower that actually enjoy it, which I guess is just probably for the best. In our number 2 spot today, we have this plastic-eating fungi. This is a fungi that could help us solve one of the world's most pressing issues, which is the overpopulation of plastic. We have way too much plastic on this earth and virtually no way to get rid of it, but this discovery could help us fix that. This is the very first fungus ever found that can support itself on polyurethane in anaerobic conditions, which means that it not only can consume plastic, but it also does not require oxygen for growth. In fact, oxygen may even affect affect it negatively, which could make it a perfect species to help remove plastic from our oceans and other places with little to no oxygen. This is a fairly new discovery, which means it of course is still in the research phase. It will require more time before we are exactly sure how to best utilize its incredible properties, but this may be the solution to one of humanity's biggest questions and problems. And of course, this isn't a ticket to just start throwing plastic in the oceans, and should serve as a reminder to us all that our Earth is full of unbelievable things, and if we stopped ruining it for a second, we might be able to realize its full potential and see just how lucky we all are to have such a beautiful planet. In our number 1 spot today, we have Silkhenge. Okay, we already talked about one spider that was actually pretty cool, and begrudgingly I have to talk about another one because it also is equally as unbelievable, but here's the strangest part about it. We don't even actually know what the spider is. There is some kind of spider that is making what is referred to as Silkhenge. This piece of spider art was first discovered in 2013 by Troy Alexander, who posted a photo of it on the internet asking for help in identifying it, but no one could help because it's a totally unknown phenomena. These structures are created by spiders and help with reproduction because they're actually protecting eggs. There's one main spire that is constructed of spider silk, and that is where the eggs are contained, and then surrounding that spire is a sort of circular fence that is also made of spider silk. The name comes from its similar appearance to Stonehenge, and no one knows what kind of spider is making these insane structures, or if it's a multitude of different kinds of spiders. Either way, it certainly is one of the most astonishing things being created by a tiny, mysterious creature.
At number 10, we have the animals are going to die. Yeah, I'm gonna be super blunt with this one. If we lose the rainforest, a bunch of animals are gonna die, and you can say goodbye to biodiversity. There's over 10% of the world's species living in the rainforest. That's a lot, bro. Imagine you're at a party with 100 people, and then 10 of those people catch on fire because everyone else at the party was too careless. The party would suck after that. It's hard to keep a good time going when 10 people burn to death right in front of you. And many of these animals can't just be taken out of the rainforest and then put into a zoo. First of all, zoos are cruel and we should shut all of them down, but these animals need a complex environment that is the rainforest. Without that, they can't survive. Like, you can't just take a person from Chicago and then put them with a bunch of monks to live in the mountains. They wouldn't know the language or what any of the local sports teams would be. It would be traumatizing. At number 7, we have loss of money. I mean, if there's one way we can try to convince these massive companies to stop tearing down trees, it's definitely with even more green. The main reason that the rainforest is being torn down is because the land is converted for commercial use. These big companies come through with big ugly trucks and rip out all the beautiful natural foliage so they can repurpose the land for rubber trees, palm oil trees, and even grazing areas. I would hate to see what their homes look like. I'm sure they suck at decorating. They probably took out all the natural light and then replaced it with neon frame pictures of their own. But these companies don't realize that in the long run, they are making way less money. It's thought that in the pharmaceutical industry alone, the rainforest is worth about $150 billion. The global rubber industry, even including everything outside of the rainforest, is only worth $26 billion. And the palm oil industry, even including all the stuff outside the rainforest, is only worth $60 billion. The money gained doesn't even come close to the amount of money that's being lost. Y'all are just being stupid, man. You gotta think about long-term growth. At number 6, we have climate change. Yeah, we already talked about this in the intro, but it's kind of a big deal, so I'm going to talk about it again. If we burn down the whole Amazon, climate change is going to get worse, and then the flood will kill us all, or lack of food, or cannibals. Any of them, really. Now, part of me thinks that the government has a carbon gun hidden away in Area 51 that can suck all the carbon out of the air and save the planet in like 20 minutes, and that this whole climate change thing is just something to distract us from the fact that the Clintons are so powerful they can kill anyone at any time. But I'm not willing to bet all my chips on that just yet. For now, I'm going to hope that not burning down the Amazon will save us. And it can. The Amazon is a carbon sink, which means it sucks a bunch of carbon out of the air. The thing is a giant scrub brush for the atmosphere. 40% of the world's carbon is absorbed by the world's forests. That's a lot. Imagine you're at a party with 100 people, and then 40 of the people there are actively working to shrink their carbon footprint. That would be a pretty woke party. At number 5, we have displacement of indigenous people. This is probably one of the saddest parts about this whole list. There are people who have made the Amazon their home for centuries, and if it burns down, where are they supposed to go? That is their land and they've made a life that isn't so easily changed. You don't go from living in a tribe in the Amazon hunting with a bow and arrow to working at Walmart and putting money into a tax-free savings account. There's a lot of people who rely on the rainforest to survive. Around 31 million people either live in or off the Amazon. The people who live in these areas need the land to live. They need the areas for food, and for some of them they haven't been exposed to outside communities. Because most of us are filthy animals and carry a bunch of diseases, we have way more bacteria on us than any of these tribes have ever seen. So when these indigenous people come in contact with us, sometimes they can die just from the exposure to these new diseases. They don't have a natural immunity to them. There's not vaccines in the deep dark corners of the rainforest. At number 4 we have major damage to the ocean. If we actually don't stop the horrific act of burning down the rainforest like joints at a party, the carbon levels are going to skyrocket, which we kind of already covered, but this won't just affect the atmosphere. Some of the carbon will get absorbed into the ocean, which means the ocean will become more acidic. If you don't know what that means, don't feel bad. The only reason I know what it means is because I had to look it up for this video. Now if the ocean becomes more acidic, then most of the animals can't live in there. We're gonna see a mass extinction of sea life. Some stuff will be able to survive, but so many fish are gonna die a horrible death of swimming in an ocean that's too acidic. If a ton of fish die out of nowhere, well it's probably gonna lead to famine and every good fish and chip restaurant closing. That means no more sushi, no more oyster bars, no more Red Lobster. Well, I mean Red Lobster could stay open on the Cheddar Bay biscuit alone. Every time I go I eat like 15 of them even though they clog my colon up like concrete in a drain pipe. But if we destroy the rainforest, say goodbye to seafood. At number 3 we have erosion. So if the Amazon gets destroyed, there's now going to be a massive plot of land that used to be held together by vegetation. Now that all that vegetation is gone and all that land is loose like your stool after Taco Bell, and what does loose stool do? It flows, baby. Oh, it flows fast. And that's what that loose stool land is going to do. This will cause mudslides and a whole bunch of other natural disasters. On top of that, the rainforest is what fertilizes the soil. So all that flowing earth will be unfertilized. And then when it smashes into farmland, it will make that soil unusable. Basically another situation that leads to massive famine where we all become cannibals and eat our friends. Number 2, we have evapotranspiration. A big word for my little brain. What the hell is evapotranspiration, you may ask? Well, it's when plants give off vapor from their leaves in the process of photosynthesis. This goes up into the atmosphere and makes clouds, and then it comes back down as rain. The whole thing is the circle of life. But you may think that it's not a big deal. How much water vapor comes off of plants and gets turned into clouds? Well, a lot. An acre of corn can produce 4,000 gallons of water vapor a day, and somewhere between 10 to 15% of water vapor in the atmosphere comes from plants. And this will stretch super far. The decrease in rainfall will stretch as far as the Sierra Nevada, and areas between the Amazon will be seeing a decline of 50% in rainfall. Areas like California have already seen the effects of deforestation in the form of drought, which leads to massive fires. So not only will we all be cannibals, but everything will be on fire. And number 1 on our list, it won't come back. This isn't something you can just fix by planting seeds. The whole thing would be gone for good. The Amazon rainforest is a delicate ecosystem that was formed 56 million years ago when the world was hot enough to create rainforests. So the conditions that it takes to create a beautiful ecosystem like that are gone. And we already covered how the soil would be crap, the rain would be gone, the plants and animals would all be dead. The rainforest would all be gone. So we get one shot at saving this thing, guys. Let's try to do it right.
"12-inch long bird-eating spiders, 10-foot long armored fish, dinosaur-sized gators. These are the scariest things ever found hidden in the depths of the Amazon." Talk about the Goliath bird eater. Sounds terrifying, and it is. This beast of a spider can have legs that stretch out as long as 12 inches or 30 centimeters. 12 inches of spider, that's too much. Their bodies alone can even reach just over 5 inches or 13 centimeters. Imagine that crawling across your floor at night. Luckily, these things are mostly found in the Amazon rainforest. If you were spending the night there, you'd have a lot more dark corner somewhere. When they feel threatened, they do this creepy thing where they rub their legs and abdomen to release irritating hairs that can hurt your eyes or your skin. They also have big fangs, but their bite isn't actually that bad. It's more like a wasp sting, painful but not deadly. And even though they're called bird eaters, they mostly eat insects, frogs, and small animals like lizards or snakes. They don't go around snatching birds all the time, but they have been known to. They'll eat whatever they can drag back to their burrow, and once they've got their prey, they liquefy it and suck it dry. The arapaima is one of the most incredible fish in the world. It's a monster of a fish, able to grow up to 10 feet long and weigh over 440 pounds. They're native to the Amazon and Essequibo basins and are some of the biggest freshwater fish in the world. They have these sleek torpedo-shaped bodies and bright red markings. They're beautiful creatures, but very intimidating. They're tough too. Their scales are practically armor. Now, unlike most fish, the arapaima needs to surface for air. It has a modified swim bladder that works almost like a lung, letting it grab oxygen from the air. So it can survive in oxygen-deprived water, making it a top predator in places where other fish might struggle. These things can hunt fish, crustaceans, even small land animals that wander too close to the edge of the water, and if you're lucky enough, or unlucky enough, depending on your perspective, to spot one, don't be surprised if it suddenly leaps out of the water. These giant fish can jump when they feel threatened. With all that size and strength, the arapaima definitely deserves its place as one of the scariest creatures in the Amazon. This right here is a payara fish, aka the vampire fish. Wonder how it got that nickname. Yes, these things are known for their massive fangs. It's a pretty ferocious predator, with the larger of their species growing up to 3 feet long, which doesn't sound that big compared to the last one, but I mean, with fangs like that, you really don't need to be more than 3 feet long. Their fangs, which are really more like tusks, can grow up to 6 inches in length. They use these to impale their prey after a quick, brutal lunge. In fact, their fangs are so big that the payara has a special holes in its upper jaw just to stop it from jabbing itself. These things eat piranhas for breakfast, literally. Kind of gives you an idea of how vicious they can be. Definitely not a fish you want to mess with. This is an Amazonian giant centipede, aka a nightmare wrapped in legs. It's the largest centipede species in the world, growing up to 12 inches long. They're found in places like Brazil, Cambodia, and Venezuela, hiding under rocks and under leaves, waiting for their next meal. And speaking of that, what do they eat? They're carnivores, and they'll hunt down pretty much anything they can overpower. Insects, frogs, lizards, even small birds and bats. Some of the larger ones are so strong they can catch bats. They'll climb up cave walls and then hang on with just a few of their legs and then catch a bat. That's it. Ugh. Now, while they mostly hunt smaller animals, don't think for a second that you're safe from them. They're also venomous. The venom might not always be deadly to adults, but it can cause extreme pain and swelling, and in some cases can be fatal. When it comes to predators of the Amazon River, the black caiman is at the top of the food chain. These things are massive, growing up to 20 feet long, basically an alligator on gear. I mean, look at this thing. That's just a dinosaur. They're the top predators in the water, and they're not picky eaters. They'll take down anything from piranhas and to monkeys to deer and even anacondas. And if you've been watching the channel lately, you know how massive anacondas can get in the Amazon. So of course, these things will also attack humans. In 2010, a biologist named Dee Neshimura had a run-in with a black caiman. While cleaning fish on her houseboat, one just popped out from under her boat and chomped her leg off before she managed to fight it off. Luckily, she made it out alive, but it's still a tragic incident. The gator had been waiting under her boat for months. These guys are patient and deadly, making them one of the scariest creatures in the Amazon, without a doubt. That's one big beetle, a titan beetle to be exact. These things can grow up to 6.7 inches long. They're one of the biggest insects on the planet. Native to the rainforests of South America, including Venezuela, Colombia, and Brazil, they're rarely seen, being that they're nocturnal and usually hide in rotting wood. They spend most of their time on the forest floor searching for rotting wood to feed on. They also have these special sensory hairs on their bodies to help them sense changes in the environment, which makes them excellent hunters in the dark. If you do happen to cross paths with one, you better hope you don't scare it, because titan beetles can snap wooden sticks in half, and yes, those mandibles are strong enough to tear into your flesh too. They're known to be pretty fierce when it comes to defending themselves. In February of 2019, something washed up on the shores of Marao Island in the Amazon River, a dead humpback whale calf. It wasn't exactly on shore even, it was all the way into the trees. Finding a whale this far up the Amazon River was already strange, but it wasn't just the location, it was the timing. By February, these whales are usually long gone from the area, heading back to the south. The calf had no visible injuries, so poaching wasn't the issue. Scientists had no idea what they were dealing with here. One theory is that the whale was separated from its mother during migration, and the currents pushed it into the river. Once it got there, it got stuck in the mangrove swamp, too weak to get out. It's also possible the whale swallowed plastic waste, which may have sped up its death. One thing is for sure though, no one was ever expecting to see this. It's one of the oddest discoveries in the Amazon in recent years. This next animal is very strange, a bat with the face of a bulldog, which can also fish. It's the only known bat species to fish. The bulldog bat is one of the strangest creatures in the Amazon. I mean, I didn't think these things were actually gonna look like bulldogs, but they really do, and they're built to fish. With their large, pointed ears, long legs, these bats use echolocation to detect ripples on the water's surface, then they swoop down to catch fish up in their talons. In one night, a bulldog bat can catch 20 to 30 small fish by skimming just below the water. They roost in hollow trees, caves, or even man-made structures. They don't only eat fish either, some will eat insects as well, but the larger ones focus on hunting in the water. What makes them even more eerie is their ability to store food in their cheek pouches and their large lips. Throw in the big, strong claws and you've got a creature that's as intimidating as it is weird. Next on the list is the Okari monkey, only found in the northwestern Amazon basin. These have to be just some of the most bizarre looking monkeys in the entire world. They have fur all over their bodies except their heads, and not only are their heads totally bald, they're also bright red. Looks like you just stuck two different animal pieces together, or like someone took a razor to a regular monkey and cut all the hair on its head. Very strange. And those beet red faces are actually what attract these monkeys to each other. The redder the face, the more attractive they are to their mates. These monkeys often travel in groups, sometimes in packs of 100 or more, and tend to move around on the lower branches of the forest, foraging for fruit, flowers, seeds, invertebrates, buds, and leaves. To me, these things look like demons though. Electric eels are one of the scariest creatures lurking in the Amazon River. Even though they're not technically eels at all, they're actually more closely related to catfish, but that's not the point. These monsters can grow up to 8 feet long and have specialized cells called electrocytes that allow them to produce electricity. They can send out jolts of up to 600 volts. While one shock isn't really deadly to a healthy adult, getting hit multiple times can lead to heart failure or drowning. Many of the mysterious disappearances in the Amazon have been suspected of electric eels stunning their victims, leaving them helpless in the water. Luckily, these eels mostly stick to hunting fish, amphibians, and small mammals, but you definitely wouldn't want to stick around in the water too long if you saw one. A newly discovered species of catfish, a terrifying new vampiric wasp, a mystery spider creating silk structures that look like Stonehenge. These are scary discoveries in the Amazon that left experts completely baffled. A newly discovered species of catfish called Trichomyceteris anticus was recently found in a small river in the Amazon. This catfish is pretty small, measuring less than 3 inches. Its eyes are tiny and it has pointed, oddly arranged teeth. It doesn't look that different from other catfish except for a dark gray stripe running along its body and a few small spots near its back fin. What's truly weird is what researchers found when they looked at the catfish's DNA. A lot of species in the Amazon split off from each other around 5 to 2 million years ago during the Pliocene era, but this little guy took a different route. It branched off way earlier during the Miocene, which was about 23 to 5 million years ago. This ancient split earned it the name Anticus, which means old and Latin. This catfish is incredibly rare. Over several trips to the area by the team, only 4 of these fish were ever found. Scientists came across a bizarre silk structure that's been dubbed Silkhenge because it kind of looks like a tiny web version of Stonehenge. Found in 2013 in Tambopata, Peru, the structure is made up of a ring of tiny pillars surrounding a central cone. At first, no one knew what made it or why it looked so strange. Then, a few months later, scientists returned and discovered something amazing: baby spiders emerging from the webs. In December of 2016, researchers filmed the first ever video of the spiders hatching. In the footage, you can see 2 translucent golden orangey looking spiderlings pushing their way out of the silk cone. Biologist Phil Torres, one of the researchers, could barely contain his excitement as the hatchlings made their first steps. The spiders appear to belong to a new species, but much about them is still a mystery. Aaron Pomerantz, a researcher at UC Berkeley, explained that identifying species usually involves looking at adult spiders, but since none have been found yet, the creature behind the Silkhenge is still mostly unknown. Next up, we have a newly discovered parasitic wasp, nicknamed the vampire wasp, which looks just about as terrifying as it sounds. They were found at the perfect time, too, October of 2023, and I had to believe the Halloween season somehow influenced the naming of these things. That and the fact that these have to be the creepiest looking wasps in existence. Scientists discovered the new breed of wasps in the Peruvian Amazon. Brandon Claridge, a doctoral candidate in biology at Utah State University, along with his team, set up large tent-like traps to capture insects. Of course, a variety of insects were caught, but one stood out: the Capitojopa amazonica, aka the vampire wasp. These wasps not only sting their prey, but they also suck their blood, hence the vampire nickname. But to make things even more horrifying, they also lay larvae under the victim's skin. Luckily, these wasps don't have much interest in humans, at least not that we know of yet. Crazy thing about this little expedition is that the team apparently caught 108 other new species using these traps. It's just crazy how many animals are still not known to science. The Mashco Piro tribe, one of the most isolated and reclusive indigenous groups in the world, was recently spotted in the Amazon rainforest of Peru. These tribe members were seen near the Las Piedras River. Mashco Piro are believed to be the largest indigenous community still living without any outside contact. Over 50 tribe members were seen, and the images were confirmed by the indigenous rights group Survival International. Alfredo Vargas Pio, president of a local indigenous organization, told Survival International that these sightings are irrefutable evidence that the Mashco Piro live in this area. But there's concern over the tribe's safety. Logging companies have been granted access to the land. Vargas warned that contact with outsiders, especially logging workers, could introduce dangerous diseases that might wipe out the tribe. He also called for the Peru government to recognize and legally protect the Mashco Piro's territory. In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, archaeologists discovered one of the largest collections of prehistoric rock art ever found. Stretching across nearly 8 miles of cliffs in Colombia, these paintings date back as far as 12,500 years and include thousands of images of animals and humans. The discovery includes images of extinct Ice Age creatures like the mastodon and giant sloths, as well as horses and camels, meaning the people who created these paintings were some of the first humans to enter the Amazon. Jose Ariart, an archaeologist leading the research, was in awe of the level of detail in this work. He described the horse images as so detailed that you could even see horse hair, and noted that the paintings were so natural that they left little doubt about what was being depicted. Some of the paintings are huge, a lot of them are so high up on cliffs that archaeologists actually had to use drones to get a clearer view. They even found evidence of wooden towers in some of the artwork, which might explain how the artists reached so high up. The team of British and Colombian researchers spent hours trekking through the dangerous territory where they had to navigate past deadly snakes and caimans. The electric catfish, one of the most bizarre creatures lurking in the Amazon River. This fish is capable of generating powerful electric shocks, up to 350 volts, which it uses to stun prey and defend itself from predators. Unlike electric eels, which generate their shock from a specialized organ, the electric catfish has a set of electrocytes, specialized cells that produce electricity running along its body. When it feels threatened or needs to catch food, the fish can release an electric charge strong enough to paralyze smaller fish, making them easier to swallow. These fish can be pretty big too, growing up to 3 feet long. They're also incredibly hard to spot because they have this muddy brownish appearance that blends in perfectly with the riverbed. They may not be as famous or dangerous as the electric eel, but getting shot can still cause pain and temporary paralysis. The mapinguari is a mysterious creature said to lurk deep in the Amazon, and tribes have told tales of the creature for centuries, even ones that don't communicate with each other. It's described as a giant 7-foot-tall beast said to have a terrible fetid smell that can make hunters dizzy and disoriented. Some say it looks more like a giant ground sloth. Other depictions have it with like a big eye on the top and just a mouth on its stomach. Very strange. There have been multiple expeditions to find it, but no concrete evidence like bones or scat has ever been found. Some scientists think the creature could be based on stories passed down from a time when humans were actually interacting with giant ground sloths. These creatures are believed to have gone extinct around 10,000 years ago, but some think they might have lived much later. Over the last 25 years, a number of strange geoglyphs have been found in the Brazilian rainforest. These massive trenches, some up to 36 feet wide and 13 feet deep, are spread across about 5,000 square miles. They come in all sorts of shapes: circles, ovals, squares, octagons. The big question is, what were they used for? Well, these weren't homes or military fortifications, at least not from what we can tell. Archaeologists think they were used for ceremonies or rituals, but what's even more interesting is what these geoglyphs say about how ancient people used the land. A new study suggests that these early humans might have been way better at managing the forest than we are today. By digging into the soil around 2 geoglyph sites, researchers found that about 4,000 years ago, people were using controlled burns to clear land for farming. They also cleared certain trees and plants to make room for ones that were more useful to them. The big difference with today's deforestation, back then it was temporary and the forest was managed to keep valuable resources. As archaeologist Dr. Jennifer Watling puts it, deforestation in this area today is complete and long-lasting. A major drought in the Amazon in 2023 revealed some ancient petroglyphs carved into rocks along the Negro River, right where it meets the Amazon River. These carvings depict all sorts of things: human faces, animals, shapes like squares and circles that were created as long as 2,000 years ago. Indigenous archaeologist Carlos Augusto da Silva has been studying the petroglyphs, and he first spotted them during a drought back in 2005. But in October of 2023, the river's water level dropped so much that Silva found over 100 of these petroglyphs, the most he's ever seen. The exact age of the carvings is hard to pinpoint since dating rock directly is tough. Ceramics found nearby, though, have been radiocarbon dated to around 2,000 years ago, so the petroglyphs might be from the same period, but there's no clear evidence linking the creators of the ceramics to the petroglyph makers. This is the longest period the petroglyphs have been visible in modern times, and archaeologists are concerned about potential damage with all the increased visitor interest.
Deep in the heart of the Amazon jungle, beneath layers of dense foliage and centuries of mystery, lie enormous earthworks that defy our expectations of a pristine wilderness. Once thought to be untouched by advanced civilizations, recent discoveries have revealed a network of geometric designs, causeways, and ceremonial mounds that challenge everything we thought we knew about pre-Columbian cultures. Today we're diving into the fascinating discoveries that not only baffle scientists, but also tell the untold story of an indigenous people who reshaped the very landscape around them. Imagine discovering an entire city, concealed by lush vegetation for thousands of years. In the Upano area of eastern Ecuador, archaeologists have uncovered a sprawling ancient metropolis built around 2,500 years ago and inhabited for nearly 1,000 years. Using advanced LiDAR technology over a 300 square kilometer survey, they revealed 6,000 rectangular platforms, each about 20 by 10 meters and arranged in clusters around plazas with central platforms. These platforms likely housed homes and ceremonial spaces, all connected by an intricate network of straight roads and canals, including a jaw-dropping 25-kilometer long route. Nestled in the fertile shadow of a volcano, the city not only boasted sophisticated urban planning, but also challenges our old ideas that the Amazon was home to only nomadic tribes or tiny settlements. As one expert put it, this discovery forces us to rethink our Eurocentric notions of civilization and appreciate the complex, interconnected societies that once thrived deep in the jungle. Tucked away in the Brazilian state of Acre, the Acre geoglyphs are among the most well-documented and awe-inspiring earthworks in the Amazon. Discovered through a combination of aerial surveys and on-the-ground exploration, these vast geometric shapes, circular, rectangular, and sometimes even complex polygonal designs, stretch over hundreds of meters. What makes them so captivating? Their sheer scale and precision that suggest that an organized society once mobilized thousands of laborers to craft these monumental outlines on the earth. Researchers like Michael Heckenberger have pointed out that these geoglyphs indicate not only advanced engineering skills, but also a very rich cultural life, possibly serving as ceremonial centers or markers of territorial boundaries. These earthworks force us to rethink the long-held myth of the Amazon as an untouched jungle, revealing instead a dynamic landscape of human creativity and purpose. Travel a little further east near the city of Santarém in the Para state, and you'll find another jaw-dropping set of structures. Satellite imagery and drone surveys have revealed intricate patterns etched into the land, geometric forms that echo the designs found in Acre, but with their own distinct flair. The Santarém earthworks are particularly intriguing because of their interlocking layout. Many appear connected by faint pathways and ditches that seem to lead from one ceremonial site to another. Some experts believe that these represent ancient roads or processional routes used during religious ceremonies. What's even more mysterious is the possibility that these geometric arrangements were not random at all, but might have been aligned with astronomical events, hinting at a complex understanding of the cosmos by their builders. Further south along the winding tributaries of the Purus River, researchers have uncovered a series of lesser-known circular earthworks that seem almost too perfect to be natural. These circular ditches, some with central platforms, appear deliberately constructed and are often surrounded by smaller peripheral features. Unlike the other counterparts we've already spoken about, these structures in the Purus region are less well known simply because they are more difficult to access. They're hidden under a thicker canopy and have only been revealed through persistent exploration and the help of modern imaging technology. The meticulous workmanship suggests these were not just casual markers. They were purpose-built, likely serving as focal points for community gatherings, defense, or even astronomical observations. Each circle tells a silent story of communal effort and ritual significance, reminding us that even the most remote parts of the Amazon hold clues to a sophisticated pre-Columbian society. Imagine wandering through the jungle and suddenly coming upon a long, straight causeway cutting through the undergrowth, an anomaly in the landscape where nature typically curves and weaves. In several regions of the Amazon, archaeologists have discovered what appear to be ancient road networks, intricately linked with the geoglyphs and earthworks. These causeways are not mere footpaths, but engineered roads that once connected separate ceremonial centers and settlements. Their construction would have required advanced planning and sustained labor, suggesting a level of societal organization that is as impressive as it is unexpected. Some researchers speculate that these roads were used during seasonal gatherings or pilgrimages, creating a physical and perhaps symbolic link between different communities. Among the most intriguing finds in the Amazon are the monumental mounds scattered across various regions. Unlike the flat geoglyphs, these earthen mounds rise above the surrounding landscape and may have served multiple purposes: defensive structures, platforms for ceremonies, or even markers of astronomical events. Some mounds feature terraced layers, suggesting they were built over many generations. And what is truly fascinating is that these mounds are often found in areas that also contain evidence of intensive agriculture. This has led some archaeologists to propose that mound building was part of a larger strategy to manage and transform the landscape. The sophistication of these constructions indicates that Amazonian societies were not only capable of creating awe-inspiring monuments, but were also experts in engineering and land management. Water is life, especially in the dense and dynamic environment of the Amazon. Alongside the geometric earthworks, scientists have uncovered evidence of intricate water management systems that suggest a deep understanding of hydraulics and agriculture. In several sites, channels and canals have been found in close proximity to the geoglyphs and mounds, indicating that the ancient builders were keen on controlling water flow to support their settlements and crop fields. Some of these canals are remarkably long, hinting at a network designed not just for irrigation, but also for transportation and possibly even ritual purification. The existence of these waterworks adds another layer of complexity to our understanding of Amazonian societies, one where engineering and environmental stewardship went hand in hand. This discovery challenges modern assumptions about primitive methods, showing instead that these ancient peoples had mastered techniques that are still relevant in sustainable agriculture even today. Among the diverse array of Amazonian earthworks, some circular ditches have a peculiar feature, a central platform that seems perfectly positioned to capture the first light of dawn or the glow of a setting sun. Could it be that these sites served as early observatories or ritual spaces aligned with celestial events? Several researchers have noted that the orientation of these circles corresponds with significant astronomical phenomena, such as solstices and equinoxes. This potential alignment suggests that the builders may have had an advanced grasp of astronomy, a tool used not only for practical purposes like agriculture, but also for marking time and celebrating seasonal cycles through ritual. The idea that these ancient communities built structures that double as celestial calendars is both enchanting and humbling, revealing a worldview where the heavens and earth were intimately connected through art, science, and spirituality. Step back and take a closer look at the intricate geometric designs etched into the earth. What might they mean? Unlike random drawings, these patterns are remarkably consistent and suggest a symbolic language that the ancient builders used to communicate ideas about order, nature, and the cosmos. Some of the designs incorporate spirals, concentric circles, and interlocking shapes that evoke both natural forms and mathematical precision. Researchers have hypothesized that these patterns could represent everything from maps of sacred sites to depictions of mythological stories, or even encoded astronomical data. Although the true meaning remains elusive, the level of detail and thought behind each design speaks volumes about the intellectual and artistic culture of these ancient Amazonian societies. When you stand before one of these sprawling earthworks, you can't help but wonder if there's a hidden order to the chaos of nature. A growing body of research suggests that many of these structures were deliberately aligned with celestial events. For instance, some geoglyphs and mounds are oriented towards the rising sun during the summer solstice or the winter solstice's sunset, hinting at a sophisticated understanding of the solar cycles. This alignment is not merely coincidental, it appears to be a deliberate choice that could have held ceremonial or calendrical significance. Imagine an ancient society gathering at these sites to mark the changing seasons, celebrating the cycles of nature with rituals that connect them directly to the cosmos. Such astronomical alignments reveal that the builders were not only skilled engineers, but also keen observers of the sky, integrating their knowledge of the universe into the very fabric of their environment. In early 2024, a team of scientists working with the Waorani people in Ecuador came across what looked like a typical green anaconda until they ran the DNA. Turns out it wasn't the same species at all. It's now been named the northern green anaconda, and genetically it's about 5.5% different from the one we already knew about. That might not sound like much, but in evolutionary terms, that's a 10 million year separation. I was surprised by that too. This thing is huge. The team spotted one female that was over 20 feet long, and some locals claim they've seen them closer to 25 feet, weighing more than a half ton. It lives in in remote rivers stretching from Ecuador to Venezuela and has pretty much gone unnoticed by science until now. They mostly feed on big prey, and by big prey I mean like deer and caimans, which are basically like a type of alligator. So yeah, these things are massive. The green anaconda stays underwater for long stretches. They're definitely not easy to spot, and unfortunately their territory overlaps with areas being torn up by oil drilling and illegal logging. The same researchers who found the snake also pointed out high levels of pollution in the water from petroleum waste, which could be slowly poisoning these animals. So yeah, the biggest snake ever found might already be at risk of extinction, and we only just learned it existed. Meanwhile, all you snake haters are clapping and cheering. I know you're out there. It's okay. I see you. This species was only officially described this year. It was found in the Brazilian Amazon jungle near the Juruá River. It's tiny, barely the size of your thumb, and unlike the last entry on this list, these creatures stand out because of their vibrant colors. Deep, coppery limbs, a reddish-brown body, and thin blue stripes running down their backs. Scientists named it Renitomea etherea, which roughly means heavenly in Latin. Researchers said that discovering it in such an untouched, remote area felt surreal, which completely makes sense. I mean, on one hand, it makes sense to find a new animal in a place where barely any human being has set foot, but I just mean it must have felt like they were stepping into another world. This new species belongs to the poison dart frog family, and like the others, it's toxic to the touch. That toxin comes from the things it eats, usually ants and mites. It's how these frogs protect themselves. This one in particular was only found in one small area, which makes it vulnerable right out of the gate. If anything changes in that spot, deforestation, drought, pollution, there is a good chance the whole species could disappear before we even get a chance to learn more about it. Also interesting, scientists noticed its call was different from nearby species, which could mean its mating habits or territorial behavior are totally unique too. So this thing looks like a giant worm, right? Want to know something really crazy though? It's not. It's actually an amphibian, a legless amphibian, a newly discovered species called the truncated caecilian. It was found in Ecuador in 2024. Technically, it sat in a museum for years before anyone realized what it was. After researchers dug back into the area it came from, they confirmed it was actually something totally new. This thing grows about 19 inches long, they have pale gray bodies, and their heads are kind of flattened out, hence the truncated part of the name. Let's talk about the teeth. What teeth, you may be asking? Allow me to explain, or shut off the video, I don't care. So these things actually have these curved back, needle-like teeth. It uses them to grab stuff and eat stuff like earthworms underground. These guys spend nearly their whole lives buried in the soil, which is why they're rarely seen and barely studied. There's still a ton we don't know about them. How do they reproduce? What's its full range? How many even exist? I don't know, if you're coming to me for answers, maybe rethink your life. While exploring Peru's Alto Mayo region in 2024, scientists found a weird little rodent that lives part of its life in water. Yes, that is right, folks. We have a mouse that swims. It goes against everything I have ever learned about mice growing up, and believe me, I learned a lot. It hasn't been officially named yet, but it's believed to belong to the genus Daptomus, a group of semi-aquatic rodents. These critters have partially webbed feet, a waterproof-looking coat, and a diet that probably includes aquatic insects. They only spotted it in one small, swampy patch of forest, so they are pretty rare. What's especially odd, though, is that the area it was found in isn't untouched jungle. People live and work nearby, so these weirdos, these freaks of nature, have been hiding out in plain sight all this time while we've been watching? I don't know. What are people watching now? Anyways, it says something about how little we actually notice the creatures around us. No one knows yet if this is a totally new species or just a rarely seen one, but either way it's a pretty wild find. It also shows how even well-trodden parts of the Amazon are still weird as hell. In 2024, scientists working in Bolivia's upper Madiri River confirmed that they'd found a new species of piranha. Thank God, we all wanted a new one. This new species is definitely definitely sharp-toothed like the others, but there are a few things about it that set it apart. It's got a dark crescent-shaped spot on the base of its tail and a deep red anal fin edged in black. Don't ask me what an anal fin is. This is just what I read online from far more qualified people than myself. Sue me. They discovered this new species after catching a few in a lesser studied part of the river, and at a first glance it looked familiar, but the details didn't line up with any of the known species. Back in the lab, genetic tests confirmed that it hadn't been identified before. Researchers say it's part of a group known for aggressive feeding, but we still don't know much about this specific one, like how big they can get or how they can hunt. The point is, even a fish as infamous as the piranha can still surprise you with new branches on the family tree. Maybe don't go skinny dipping in the upper Madeira anytime soon. This one's for the spider people, all 12 of you around the world. In 2024, researchers in Ecuador found a brand new species of giant crab spider. It's part of the huntsman spider family, which are already known for being fast and too big. This one can stretch out around 5 inches with long orange legs tipped in brown, and I feel itchy just talking about it. What's interesting is how it hunts. Unlike web spiders, these guys don't sit and wait. They're stalkers. They move through the jungle a few feet off the ground, creeping silently, looking for prey. That kind of hunting style isn't typical for other spiders in its group, which is what tipped researchers off that this one might be something new. It's the first time a spider from this genus has been found in Ecuador, but others like it have shown up in parts of Central and South America. These guys were named after an Ecuadorian biologist who helped train the team that discovered it, which is a nice touch. My heart is warmed and grossed out because of the spiders. In 2023, scientists discovered a new species of parasitic wasp in the Peruvian Amazon. This wasp has a particularly large head. It's also parasitic, laying eggs inside other insects. Parasitic wasps like this sound disgusting, but they actually play a big role in controlling insect populations. They act as natural pest regulators, and the fact that they're around means there's a healthy ecosystem balance. This one's for anyone who thinks all snakes are huge and scary. In 2022, researchers in Ecuador's Amazon found a snake that barely hit 8 inches long. It is a new species of dwarf boa. It kind of looks like a baby version of a regular boa constrictor. Same coiled body, same rough pattern, but just mini. Don't let the size fool you, however. This thing is still a predator. It eats tiny frogs and lizards and probably anything else small and unlucky enough to cross its path. They found it in 2 places, which both make sense because they are both high biodiversity areas that don't get a lot of foot traffic. What is extra weird is that it's part of a group that is mostly found in the Caribbean, so what the hell is it doing in South America? That's still up for debate, but either way it shows just how little we actually know about what's crawling around out there. This tiny monkey was hiding in plain sight for years. Scientists only realized in 2021 that it is a completely separate species from the marmosets we already knew about. It is called Schneider's marmoset, and it actually lives in a small patch of rainforest in Brazil. You'd think a monkey with bright orange hands and feet, a silver chest and a black tail would stand out, but apparently not. Just blended in with its cousins until somebody finally took a closer look at the DNA and skull shape. Turns out this thing's been mislabeled the whole time. It's only about 9 inches tall, not counting the tail, and it's got that wide-eyed, I know something you don't monkey face. But here's the problem. It lives right in the middle of what they call the arc of deforestation. Basically, that's the edge of the Amazon where trees are getting wiped out left and right for cattle, soy, and other development. So yeah, we just figured out this little guy's been here all along and now it's already in trouble. The more forest gets cleared, the smaller their home gets. So we've got a monkey we didn't know existed with a super limited range living in one of the most threatened parts of the rainforest. That's not a great combo, but hey, at least now we know it's there. Better late than never, I guess? This frog was found in early 2024, but to get to it, scientists had to hike through steep, foggy mountains near the Brazil-Venezuela border. That part of the Amazon is so remote, you pretty much have to parachute in. This frog has a name that sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings, but it fits. The place they found it is nicknamed the Misty Mountains. This creature is small, brown, and doesn't look like much at first, but it lives right near the entrance of tarantula burrows, which is either extremely gutsy or extremely stupid. Either way, it's new to science. It's one of several new frog species they found in that area, which is carved up by ancient geological formations called tepus, basically flat-topped mountains that have been isolated for years. So it's not just the frog that's rare, it's even the land itself. Scientists think frogs like this one evolved to survive specifically in that misty, high-altitude jungle because they don't live anywhere else, which also means that if anything changes, like climate, humidity, even slight damage to the terrain, that could be it for them. There's no plan B for these guys. They've literally got one mountain, one tiny patch of mossy ground, and that's their whole world. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Libby Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye. In our number 10 spot, we have the Yakumama. Deep in the winding currents of the Amazon River, stories persist about the Yakumama, the legendary mother of water. This isn't your average fish tale. We're talking about a serpent of unimaginable proportions, said to reach lengths of up to 160 feet. Locals believe this colossal creature lurks near the river's mouth, waiting silently beneath the surface. The most unsettling part? The Yakumama is rumored to have the power to suck in anything within a 100-foot radius. Boats vanish without a ripple, and unsuspecting victims are pulled under, leaving nothing but questions behind. Some think it's the river's way of protecting itself, a guardian ensuring that only the respectful may pass. Is there a mammoth serpent hiding in those depths, or are these stories meant to keep thrill seekers at bay? In our number 9 spot today, we have El Tunchi. Walking through the dense Amazon rainforest, travelers might hear a haunting whistle that seems to come from all directions at once. This is El Tunchi, a malevolent spirit said to manifest as an eerie sound echoing through the jungle. Locals warn that the whistle isn't just unsettling, it's a lure. Those who follow it are drawn deeper into the labyrinth of trees and shadows. People who disrespect the jungle, taking more than they need or harming its creatures, are particularly at risk. Many have ventured towards that mysterious sound only to vanish without a trace. Is it just the wind playing tricks, or could there truly be a vengeful spirit guarding the heart of the Amazon? Either way, the legend of El Tunchi adds an unsettling layer to the already mysterious rainforest, reminding us that some paths are better left unexplored. In our number 8 spot today, we have the Mapinguari. Deep within the untamed depths of the Amazon rainforest, locals speak in hushed tones about the Mapinguari, a creature that challenges the boundaries between myth and reality. This towering figure is described as a giant, covered in thick, matted hair that conceals most of its grotesque features. But the most unsettling detail, a gaping mouth right in the middle of its stomach, lined with sharp teeth ready to devour anything or anyone that crosses its path. With claws long enough to carve through tree trunks, the Mapinguari is said to roam the jungle with a fierce sense of territory. Those who've caught a whiff of its presence describe an overpowering stench so vile it can bring a grown person to their knees. Stories tell of unfortunate souls who ventured too far and encountered this beast, never to return. Could this be a surviving remnant of prehistoric times? Perhaps a giant ground sloth that evaded extinction? Or is it a cautionary tale woven to keep explorers wary of the rainforest's hidden dangers? In our number 7 spot today, we have Encantado. Amid the winding rivers and dense foliage of the Amazon, tales abound of the Encantado, a creature as captivating as it is dangerous. Locals speak of these shapeshifters who often take the form of sleek river dolphins, known for their intelligence and mysterious aura. But when the sun dips below the horizon, the Encantado is said to emerge from the water water as an irresistibly seductive human, blending effortlessly into nearby villages. With enchanting music and charm that can bewitch even the most guarded hearts, they draw people into their spell. The real peril begins when an encantado fixates on someone, leading them to the river's edge. Victims are either pulled into the depths, never to surface again, or left with a haunting madness that defies explanation. Stories circulate of festival nights where a stranger's captivating gaze led to a person's disappearance by morning. Could these beings be spirits guarding the secrets of the river, or are they something far more sinister? The legend of the Encantado adds an alluring yet ominous chapter to the rich folklore of the Amazon, reminding us that not all that glitters under the moonlight is benign. In our number 6 spot today, we have the Chulachaki. Stories circulate among Amazonian villages about the Chulachaki, a mysterious entity said to roam the depths of the rainforest. This dwarf-like being has a chilling talent. It can perfectly mimic the appearance and voice of a loved one. People recount instances where they heard a familiar call from the tree line, only to see a friend or family member beckoning them deeper into the woods. Something feels slightly off. A mismatched shoe perhaps, or an unusual gait, but curiosity often overcomes caution. Once the Chulachaki has lured its victim away from the beaten path, the forest seems to shift and change, leaving them hopelessly lost. Many believe that the Chulachaki is the guardian of the jungle, fiercely protecting it from those who would do it harm. In our number 5 spot today, we have the Maracoxi, a mysterious group of large, hairy, ape-like humanoids that bear a striking resemblance to the legendary Bigfoot. Standing taller than any known primate, these creatures are said to be covered in thick fur with eyes that pierce through the dense jungle foliage. Locals speak of eerie encounters where menacing figures watched from the shadows, emanating guttural sounds that sent chills down the spine. Highly territorial, the Maracoxi are believed to be fiercely protective of their domain. Those who unknowingly cross into their territory risk facing aggressive displays or even outright attacks. There are unsettling stories of explorers and hunters who ventured too far and vanished without a trace, their disappearances attributed to these elusive beings. Some speculate that the Maracoxi could be a lost branch of the evolutionary tree, or perhaps a primitive tribe shrouded in secrecy. Could there be truth to these stories, hiding just beyond the edge of the known world? In our number 4 spot today, we have the Sucuriju Gigante. Deep within the shadowy waters of the Amazon, legends speak of the Sucuriju Gigante, a serpent of unimaginable proportions that makes even the largest known anacondas seem like mere garter snakes. This isn't just another tall tale. Locals swear by sightings of this behemoth, describing a creature so massive it can coil itself around entire boats and drag them under without a ripple left behind. Fishermen share whispered stories of ripples that grow into waves, of enormous scales glimpsed just beneath the water's surface, and of friends who ventured into certain parts of the river, never to return. The jungle teems with unexplained disappearances and eerie accounts of livestock vanishing from riverbanks overnight. Could a snake of such colossal size truly evade scientific discovery, or is this just a manifestation of the Amazon's untamed spirit? Either way, the mere possibility keeps even the bravest souls a little weary, reminding us that some depths are better left unexplored. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Sachamama. In the deepest reaches of the Amazon rainforest, where the trees tower like ancient guardians, stories emerge about the Sachamama, the mother of the jungle. This isn't merely a snake, but a colossal serpent so immense that over time the forest has grown over her, with trees and vines intertwining across her massive form. Travelers speak of moments where the jungle falls eerily silent and a strange tranquility washes over them. It's then that they realize they're standing upon something that's not Earth, but the scaled back of the Sachamama herself. Despite her seemingly immobile state, she possesses a hypnotic power that can entrance anyone who wanders too close, trapping them in an eternal spell. Those ensnared are said to become one with the jungle, their stories ending where the Sachamama's begins. Is she a benevolent protector of the wild, or a lurking danger awaiting the next unsuspecting soul? In our number 2 spot today, we have Latunda. Among the many eerie tales that echo through the Amazon rainforest, the legend of Latunda sends shivers down the spine like no other. Originating from Afro-Ecuadorian lore, this shape-shifting vampiric creature is said to prowl the jungle, searching for unsuspecting victims. Latunda has a terrifying ability. It can perfectly mimic the appearance and voice of a loved one, be it a family member, a close friend, or even a romantic interest. Everything seems normal, but there's always something subtly off that hints at the imposter beneath the facade. Luring people deeper into the tangled heart of the forest, Latunda isolates them from any chance of rescue. It's in this remote wilderness that she reveals her true form, draining the life force of her victims to sustain her own existence. Stories tell of people who followed a familiar face into the trees, only to disappear without a trace. And finally, in our number 1 spot today, we have the black jaguar. Amidst the labyrinth of vines and towering trees in the Amazon, tales abound of the black jaguar, known locally as the jaguar negro. This isn't your average big cat, it's a mystical, melanistic jaguar said to be larger than any ever documented. Cloaked in fur so dark it seems to absorb the light, this elusive predator moves through the jungle like a shadow given form. Locals whisper that its eyes glow with an otherworldly light, piercing the inky darkness of the forest nights. Believed to possess supernatural powers, the black jaguar is more than just an animal. It's considered an omen of death. Hunters who have attempted to track this creature often vanish without a trace, fueling stories that it can traverse between the physical world and the spiritual realm. Some say it guards the secrets of the jungle, ensuring that its mysteries remain untouched by human hands. Whether rooted in reality or born from cautionary tales, these creatures embody the perils that can befall those who venture unprepared into the unknown. Exploration is a human instinct, but some secrets of the Amazon might be best left undisturbed.
Him and his 2 passengers in the plane both reported a 100-foot-long snake. They flew over it once. They're like, wait a minute, what is that?
Because the Amazon rainforest is literally being cut down and turned into soybean farms and cattle ranches, and in that cutting down process has emerged things that shouldn't be there at all.
Recently, I discovered that the Amazon is beautiful, diverse, and absolutely horrifying. Turn on a light because it's about to get dark as we discuss some of the most terrifying Amazonian discoveries to date. Up first on our list, we have the incredibly bizarre appearance of a massive humpback whale in the heart of the Amazon jungle. No, I'm not kidding. A humpback whale was legitimately found washed up on land 50 feet away from the nearest ocean. And how it got there? Honestly, no one really knows. In 2019, the 36-foot, 10-ton animal was discovered far from its natural habitat in the undergrowth of the jungle. It was located after scientists were alerted of a large gathering of scavenger birds spotted in the jungle. There are a couple theories as to how or why the whale ended up where it did, none of which really do it for me, but I'll share them with you so you don't feel left out. The first theory is that the 10-ton whale was thrown out of the water and into the woods by rough seas after floating too close to the shores of Arona Beach, which is strange because whales are not usually found along the north coast of Brazil during February when the specimen was found. Not only that, but you're really telling me rough tides threw a 10-ton whale 50 feet into the jungle? Yeah, I'm just not buying it. Another theory is that some kind of mysterious alien force dropped the poor guy there, which honestly might actually make more sense at this point. But as always, when I can't figure something out, I'd love to know what you guys think. Next on the list, we have the Goliath bird eater, and heads up, it's a spider, and yes, it does eat birds. The Goliath is a massive tarantula. Its body measures in at about 5 inches, and it has a leg span of up to 11, which makes this thing certified nightmare fuel. The animal is obviously a carnivore, consuming not only birds, but mice, lizards, and frogs as well. It hunts by pouncing on its prey and then piercing it with inch-long fangs, which act as hypodermic needles, pumping neurotoxins into the bodies of its victims. The spider then drags its dinner back to its burrow, where it liquefies the animal's insides before sucking it dry. So now that we know how it catches its own prey, let's discuss how it avoids becoming someone else's. The Goliath has pretty bad eyesight, but it does have highly sensitive leg hairs that can sense vibrations from all around. When the spider notices a predator is getting too close, it will rub its legs together, releasing the tiny harpoon-like hairs, which are tipped with stinging barbs, into the air, irritating predators' skin and eyes, strongly encouraging them to find a different meal. Also, they can lay between 50 and 150 eggs at a time, which is just awesome. Next on our list, we have the vampire wasp, a large-headed parasitic animal that grows to be just 0.2 shy of an inch, discovered in the Peruvian jungles of the Amazon. 2 things you should know about this animal. 1, the vampire wasp feeds by stinging its prey and then sucking out the blood and other internally bodily fluids of its victim. And 2, the females lay eggs by locating a suitable insect host, stabbing it with their ovipositor, which is basically a tube-like egg-laying organ, and then laying eggs under the host's skin. When the eggs hatch, the juvenile wasps remain under the skin of their host, feeding on its insides until they become fully grown. I love you guys, but I hated learning that. Next up, at our halfway point, we have an animal absolutely no less terrifying than the rest, going by the name of T-Rex leech. And it was discovered, drumroll please, inside someone's nose. Also known as the tyrant leech king, this animal can grow to be just under 2 inches. Of course, as a leech, it survives by sucking the blood from its prey. The way it does this is by using its 8.13mm teeth situated around its circular jaw to bite down on its prey, and then moving around in a sawing motion to open up the wound. Already, I apologize, but in the name of entertainment and at the expense of me sleeping tonight, I'm gonna keep going. Besides the T-Rex leech's abnormally large teeth and body, there is one other thing that makes it just a bit different than others in the leech family. Instead of attacking exposed surface skin, this guy likes to get a little more intimate, aiming for the orifices of its host bodies, such as, well, noses and mouths. Usually the noses and mouths of livestock, but judging by the nature in which it was discovered, I'd say they're really not that picky. If you guessed that next on the list we'd have another nightmarish creature capable of causing serious damage to those who come too close for comfort, give yourself a pat on the back because you're nailing it, as this next animal is exactly that. The Pyrrha, also known as the vampire fish, does not suck blood or insides of its prey, but it does have extremely large fangs that can grow to be up to 15 centimeters long. That's 5.9 inches. Almost half a foot of nightmare fuel. You might think there's some kind of saving grace here, but there's not. This animal is extremely fast and highly aggressive, considered to be one of the ultimate jungle predators. I guess we did have to even the playing field somehow though, as in recent years these feisty fish that measure in anywhere between 1.5 to 3 feet in length and weigh up to 20 pounds have become the catch of choice for fly fishers within the region. I hope you guys are doing alright, and I also hope you are not afraid of snakes, because if you are, this next one just might make your skin crawl. It's the green anaconda, aka the largest snake in the Amazon, reaching lengths of up to 30 feet, that's 9 meters, and diameters of up to 12 inches, 30.5 centimeters. And if you're still not impressed, these animals can weigh up to an astounding 550 pounds or 250 kilograms. These animals are members of the boa constrictor family, and although they have incredibly sharp teeth and powerful jaws, they are thankfully not venomous. But of course, they're incredibly strong, and they use their strength to crush their prey by curling up around it and restricting its airways, providing little chance for escape. The green anaconda is not at all a picky eater either, with an expansive diet of fish, reptiles, amphibians, tapirs, deers, dogs, capybaras, sheep, and whatever the heck else they can find, really. Luckily for us, attacks on humans are pretty rare, but not unheard of, and yeah, they can swim, like really well. So keep your eyes peeled for these masters of camouflage the next time you're taking a walk through the Amazon jungle.
Number 8, the electric eel. I say, ooh, girl, don't touch this. First of all, never rub an electric eel like that. Never rub one like they're a genie lamp. You'll want more than 3 wishes at that point. That's horrible. That was the moray eel. That one, bite your fingers off easily, but you should never touch an eel in the first place because a lot of them are electric. As its name suggests, these type of eels can mess you up even if you were to get the first hit. Specifically, the newly discovered 2.5 meter Electrophorus volti, appropriately named after Alessandro Volta, aka the guy who invented the battery. It can release a shock up to 860 volts, more than 7 times the voltage of a wall plug. Number 5, black caiman. If you aren't a fan of alligators, just go ahead and skip to number 4, I guess, because this one's terrifying, honestly. These super alligators live in calm, slow moving rivers, of course, like the big bad anacondas, places you wouldn't expect a dinosaur to jump out at you. Essentially, that's where you're gonna find one. Just like dangerous river snakes, these black caiman will take it slow. They'll wait for their prey to have a little sip of water, and then, and only then, the largest predator in the Amazon will then race out and grab its lunch, and then quickly return to the water. It's so scary. I've seen this on Reddit. They're fast. They are quite fast. Birds, reptiles, mammals, you name it, this thing can eat it all, and it will eat it all with this big on people. Yeah, human beings. So stay away from the Amazon, stay away from the water. Don't do anything. Don't even go to zoos anymore. Just stop. Don't even exist. Number 3, mosquitoes. These guys suck no matter where you are. But when it comes to the Amazon, it's much worse than you could ever imagine. Of course, as if anything else is not calming in there. Mosquitoes are one of the most dangerous because they can fly. You don't see them coming, and once they get you, too late, the damage has already been done. They have your blood, now they're gonna go sell it on the black web. If you travel to parts of the Amazon rainforest and you don't have yellow fever vaccinations or extremely strong mosquito repellent, then you are going to have an extremely bad time. Yeah, these guys are just clouds of malaria waiting for you to walk right into. And that's so disgusting. I can't even do it. Even cottages, I can't do it. I'm not a fan of mosquitoes. Number 2, bullet ants. Ugh, Ant-Man would not fight this ant. No way. They're called bullet ants because their bite feels like a bullet wound, so that is a promising start, my friends. It's also referred to as a Paraponera clavata. The bullet ant is commonly found in tropical rainforests in Central and South America. Their sting is considered the most powerful in the world, hence the, bullet alias, and its effects can last 24 hours. That's a long time to be in a horrible amount of pain. These guys get you in a colony though, game over. There's a good chance that you won't survive that. One was bad enough, let alone a colony? Oh, that's terrible. Its venom is so powerful that currently these ants are being studied for its use as a pesticide. So we're sacrificing ants in order to further their research on how to sacrifice ants.
Next up, we are keeping things cold-blooded with the bushmaster snake, a highly venomous genus of the pit viper family. The predominantly nocturnal reptile, whose diet consists largely of small mammals and birds, enjoys the damp forest floors of the Amazon rainforest. While you'd think a 6 to 12 foot, 11-pound snake might be hard to miss, this clever animal has been known to camouflage itself into the mud, grass, and fallen leaves, allowing it to better hunt for prey as well as protect itself against its very few predators. The fangs of the viper work like hypodermic needles, administering some of the deadliest snake venom in the world on demand when the cold-blooded creature decides to bite down on its prey. The venom, which works quickly to take out the animal's various prey, has horrific effects on humans. When the venom is injected, it quickly enters the bloodstream, causing vomiting, severe abdominal pain, diarrhea, sweating, low blood pressure, slowed heart rate, incoagulable blood, and shock. Luckily, there is an anti-venom available for this snake's bite, but even still, the symptoms are known to last up to 24 hours. And of course, without the anti-venom, death is pretty much a given, with human deaths by bushmaster bites racking up to an astonishing 84 in just 14 years between 2001 and 2015. Now, I know I've mentioned this before, but growing up in the islands has given me kind of a soft spot for sharks, and also educated me on the fact that more deaths per year are caused by falling coconuts than shark attacks. So naturally, I found it quite unnerving to learn about the highly aggressive nature of the bull sharks residing in the Amazon rivers. Also, I didn't know that sharks could live in rivers, let alone freshwater ones. Well, apparently while there is a general rule that sharks are only able to exist in bodies of salt water, it appears that the bull shark is somewhat of an exception. The animal's ability to survive despite a lack of salt in the environment is due to their unique kidneys, which can sense changes in salinity levels and inhibit the shark from losing its vital salt stores within its body, recycling it throughout the animal instead rather than flushing it back into the ocean. The bull shark's diet consists mainly of fish, but they are known to eat pretty much anything, including turtles, birds, sloths, dolphins, stingrays, and even other bull sharks. And yes, you heard me right, I did say sloths. The aggressive animal can grow to be up to 13 feet long and 1,300 pounds and has 50 rows of sharp, serrated, rotating teeth and an affinity for shallow waters. So I would definitely keep an eye out the next time you're trolling along the riverbanks of the Amazon. For this next one, we're taking it back to nature with the South American rattlesnake, another highly venomous pit viper species native to the Amazon rainforest. The rattlesnake can range from anywhere between 1.5 to 1.9 meters, 4.9 to 6.2 feet, and they are found enjoying the tropical grass lowlands of the Amazon. While the animal mainly feeds on reptiles, rodents, marsupials, and other unidentified mammals, unfortunately it has been known to be highly volatile, lashing out at human passerbys as well. The good thing is, most attacks come with warning signs, a raised head and body posture, as well as continuous rattling of its tail. When the snake does bite, however, venom injection is almost instant, and if its victim does not receive adequate treatment in a timely manner, death is pretty much a bona fide guarantee. The venom is made up of a mix of hemotoxins, myotoxins, and neurotoxins, and while it's pretty gnarly stuff, there is actually an upside to it. In recent years, scientists have actually figured out a way to isolate certain properties of the South American rattlesnake's venom and have been able to use them to synthesize a vaccine for HCV, hepatitis C, which is the leading cause of liver disease in humans worldwide. So I guess it's not all that bad. Alright you guys, last on our list today we have the Candiru pea fish, a parasitic fish that you do not want going anywhere near your bits and bobs. The Candiru, also known as the toothpick fish, generally inhabits the gills of catfish found in the Amazon rivers, attracted to the smells of ammonia and urea coming from the animal. When the parasitic fish enters the gill flaps, it uses spines coming from its body to secure itself in place and then begins sucking the blood of its host using sharp needle-like teeth. Some of you probably already know the turn I'm about to take with this, but if not, I should warn you, it's pretty dark and super gross. Not only have these fish been known to swim in the small orifices of other fish, but on rare occasions, confused by the scent of urea coming from humans, they tend to take a wrong turn and end up somewhere they are most definitely not welcomed. The male urethra. I'm gonna spare you the description of what happens once they get up in there because I think you get the picture, but just know it's an incredibly painful experience that requires a very invasive procedure to rectify. So, you know, stay safe out there.
The tapir awara is a legendary creature the size of a cow, believed to stalk the Amazon rainforest. A territorial, aggressive creature said to attack people in boats. The creature is described as a mix between a tapir and a jaguar, but is it just a mythical monster or a new species waiting to be discovered? Witnesses say the creatures are about 9 feet long with red or red-gold fur and occasionally blackish-gray fur with white patches or stripes. Its face is kinda cat-like, but without the spots you'd expect from a jaguar. Instead, it has large drooping ears, more like a cow, and legs that look like they belong to a donkey. Some sightings even describe it having a mix of paws and hooves. It's also semi-aquatic, often seen in the swamps and creeks of the Amazon, swimming or standing in the water. It's also said to be carnivorous with large razor-sharp teeth. There are tales of it capturing caimans and even rumors that it could eat humans. The creature is also described slapping its ears against the water, similar to how a beaver would use its tail. The Amazon jungle is vast enough that new species are being discovered there all the time. Most of them a lot smaller than a cow-sized predatory animal, but there's a lot of unexplored land, you never know. The Holodera is a lake monster, which was said to be spotted by biologist and freshwater detective Jeremy Wade. Wade first saw this creature in the Brazilian Amazon basin in 1993. He was out on a small boat, fishing, when he spotted this serpentine creature poking out of the water, and it had ridges on its back. He told some locals about what he'd seen, and nobody really believed him, but a year later he returned to the spot and ended up speaking to a man who also claimed to have seen a similar creature just a couple weeks before. Wade went out on another trek to try and spot the creature, and he did. Getting a closer look though, he figured that it was maybe just an Amazon River dolphin, with the ridges on the back possibly coming from it being injured by propeller blades, or having been deliberately mutilated by a fisherman. But it's not 100% certain if this is the case, or if there was actually some unknown creature out there. The Mapinguari is said to be a massive hairy creature, almost like a gigantic ground sloth, that stalks the rainforest and has been described by native tribes for hundreds and hundreds of years. Many tribes in the rainforest, even those not in contact, tell tales of a massive creature roughly 7 to 8 feet tall, emitting a powerful odor that can disorient hunters. Described as either roaring or fetid, this creature is known as the Mapinguari. Researchers have organized expeditions to try and find this rainforest giant, but no bones or scat samples have ever been discovered. Some scientists speculate that the Mapinguari legends might be rooted in ancient encounters with the last giant ground sloths in the Amazon, possibly dating back around 10,000 years, when these sloths are believed to have become extinct. If this extinction date is inaccurate though, the interactions with humans might have occurred more recently. Now, there are cryptid stories from all around the world, lake monsters, tons of variations of Bigfoot, we've covered tons of them on the channel, but when it comes to cryptids in the Amazon, it's really not that far-fetched. Again, the Amazon forest is just massive and dense. A majority of it is just unexplored, and it could be filled with tons of animal species that are still unknown to the scientific world. But away from the cryptids for a bit, the black caiman is actually known to exist, the Amazon's biggest known predator, an enormous crocodilian that can grow over 16 feet long, weighing in at around 1,000 pounds. Yikes. They prowl rivers and lakes in search of fish, smaller reptiles, and even larger mammals given the opportunity. Female black caimans are dedicated moms. They build nests along the riverbanks and fiercely guard their eggs until they hatch. So if you do happen to be traveling along the Amazon River and you come across a baby caiman, just get out of there as fast as you can. As scary and dangerous as these animals are though, they're important for the ecosystem. They help keep aquatic life in balance, controlling the populations of their prey, which is why poaching of these crocs is such a major issue. They're an endangered species, and not only is that sad on its own, it's also affected the population of animals like piranhas and capybaras. There's just too many of them, and that's now negatively affecting agriculture and livestock. The Brazilian wandering spider is one of the most venomous spiders in the world. They're highly venomous. Their bites can cause excruciating pain and can even be fatal to humans. What makes these spiders really interesting is their hunting style. Unlike many spiders that just sit and wait for prey to come to them, the Brazilian wandering spider wanders around in search of prey. They're proactive about where they get their food. They're nocturnal hunters roaming around at night chasing down insects, amphibians, and even small mammals like mice. And if you're unlucky enough to be camping out in the jungle, you may have one of these things crawl into your tent. The females are very protective. They keep a close eye on their egg sacs and take care of their spiderlings once they hatch. Physically, these spiders are about as terrifying as they sound, big and hairy, and on top of that, they're known for being very fast and agile, often sprinting and pouncing on their prey. And the last thing I ever want to see a big hairy spider do is pounce. I mentioned piranha populations growing in the Amazon, so let's talk more about them. There's a reason these fish are notorious enough to have like 12 horror movies about them. They're known for their aggressive feeding habits. Piranhas can really go wild during what's called a feeding frenzy. They coordinate their bites though, taking turns on their prey until everyone in the school has had a share and their victim looks like a piece of Swiss cheese. Piranhas mostly eat other fish, but will also attack insects, crustaceans, and even small mammals. Piranhas they're kind of like zombies. Individually, not that scary, but a whole pack of them and you have a problem. And piranhas form schools that can number in the hundreds. It's safety in numbers, and it makes them more effective hunters. There's a lot of variety amongst piranha species as well, with some growing up to 16 inches, which is bigger than I thought. I also talked about the black caiman earlier, one of the deadliest predators in the Amazon. Do they have anyone to worry about? Well, yes they do. It's called the green anaconda, one of the largest snake species on the planet. There are longer snakes out there, but none are as heavy and thick as green anacondas. Females often reach up to 550 pounds, and they can grow over 29 feet long with a thickness of about 12 inches. These beasts rely on their incredible muscular strength to constrict and suffocate their prey before eating them whole. And their diet is pretty diverse, including animals like capybaras, deer, caimans again, and even jaguars. Another one of the most dangerous animals in the Amazon jungle. These snakes prefer shallower waters, which help them sneak up on their prey. Electric eels are some pretty shocking creatures. Another one of the most dangerous creatures in the Amazon. They can produce an output of 600 volts, about 5 times what it takes to incapacitate a human. They use this electric shock both for defense and to stun their prey, discharging all their electrolytes at once. It's a seriously impressive survival tactic, and it makes them incredibly terrifying. Plus, these things can grow up to 8 feet long and weigh around 40 pounds. They usually lurk at the bottom of the water, where they hunt fish and small amphibians. Poison dart frogs are small, really beautiful looking frogs found in Central and South American rainforests. They have all these vibrant, striking colors, shades of bright blue, orange, yellow, black. But in nature, bright colors like this can sometimes hint at danger, and that's definitely the case here. Poison dart frogs are, unsurprisingly, very poisonous. They secrete poisonous toxins through their skin, making them one of the most poisonous creatures on Earth in general. There are lots of different species of this frog. One of the most poisonous is the golden poison frog, which is pure bright yellow. These frogs are very small, but they're very powerful in terms of toxicity. The toxins they produce are potent enough that just a single golden poison frog has the potential to take out as many as 20 men. That's nuts. The poison dart frog gets its name from the indigenous tribes of Central and South America, who use the toxic secretions from these frogs to poison the tips of blow darts. By applying the frog's toxic slime to the dart tips, they turn their hunting tools into even deadlier weapons. Interestingly though, when in captivity away from their natural environment and diet, poison dart frogs actually lose their toxicity. They actually get their toxic powers from these foods that they're able to eat in the wild, like certain types of poisonous ants and mites. Finally, let's talk about all the legends of giant snakes slithering through the dense Amazon forest. Ones other than the green anaconda, even bigger. Massive sized anacondas do exist. Again, I guess every anaconda is technically massive, but there are legends about ones larger than any documented by science for thousands of years. One explorer who claimed to have come across one is Percy Harrison Fawcett, the guy who apparently found the lost city of Z. These giant snakes are often described as being over 40 feet in length and incredibly girthy. The longest known snake we have on record was a python measuring in at 32 feet. So, while on an expedition in Bolivia, Fawcett claimed to have come face to face with one of these massive sized serpents, and not only that, he said he slayed the thing, which was approximately 62 feet long and at least 1 foot in diameter. Pretty outlandish, but I mean, what do you think? Was he just full of it? Or did they see a big snake and just misidentified its true length?
10. City of Giants. We often talk about aliens being responsible for building great monuments like the pyramids, but did we ever consider it might be giants? In 2012, something was discovered deep in the Amazon that might suggest just that. A group of researchers, paired with a team of local guides, discovered what appears to be the remains of a large city close to the Ecuador side of the forest. At the center of the city was a large stone pyramid, 80 meters tall, with a flat area on top which held many artifacts. Scattered around the area were many things like old pottery and, most curiously, massive stone tools. They appeared to be much too large and heavy for any average-sized human to ever have been able to use. The government of Ecuador ruled that the formations were just naturally occurring, but the researchers heavily dispute this, saying that due to the rectangle-shaped bricks, cement-like bonding material, and perfectly circular holes, it can't possibly have been caused by nature. Instead, they, and others, believe that this was a city built by giants long ago, What you believe is up to you. Number 9, the Mapinguari monster. There are many different tribes scattered throughout the Amazon, some without contact to each other, and some without contact to even the outside world. Yet one thing that they all have in common are their stories of a large 7-foot-tall rainforest beast, similar to many cultures' depictions of Bigfoot. The creature is described to be bulletproof and having long hair. It apparently also has a smell that is so strong it makes hunters dizzy. These stories are so widespread and similar that many researchers have gone out in search of the monster, with no luck so far. Some scientists say that this is likely just a legend passed down for centuries, dating back to when giant land sloths roamed the forests. But local people believe it to be a spirit that will kill those who hunt more than their fair share. Number 6, dangerous animals. Well, we've somehow made it this far without mentioning the many scary and terrifying creatures hiding within the depths of the forest. Life in the forest has evolved these creatures to have many unique and frightening abilities in order to survive. Let's start with perhaps one of their most famous, piranhas. Piranhas live in the Amazon River basin and are known for their incredibly strong and razor-sharp bites, even being known to have eaten human flesh. Next, poison dart frogs. While beautiful to look at, as their name suggests, they secrete a poison that can cause heart failure in just a few minutes. Arachnophobes look away, as I'm going to tell you about the Brazilian wandering spider. It is one of the most venomous spiders on the planet, and 8 different species of them wander the forest at night in search of food. So you may want to double check your sleeping bag before you get in, as their venom can lead to trouble breathing and paralysis. Finally, a very famous name in the rainforest, the green anaconda, or man-eater. These snakes can grow incredibly large and kill their prey by suffocating them within a tight, coiled hold. Number 3, the man of the hole. One famous resident of the vast rainforest is someone you've probably never heard of before. He is known as the man of the hole, as no one knows his true name or who he really is. So why is he so famous? He's indigenous to the rainforest and is known to be the very last remaining member of his remote tribe. The rest of his people were killed by farmers and land grabbers who wanted to make use of the land that they'd been living on. As a result, he is the loneliest man in the world, no one knowing his language or how to communicate with him. And it seems as though he doesn't want anyone to anyways. He has attacked government officials who have tried to come close, living on his now protected territory, digging holes to hide in and capture animals, earning his name of the man in the hole. It's also thought that he may be making these holes to try and capture anyone who would dare get close to him. He has been caught on camera only a few times, showing us that he's still around. Number 2, El Tunche. If you ever, for some reason, find yourself walking through the rainforest and you hear a distant whistling sound, it would be wise of you not to seek it out, especially if you've been stomping on a few too many plants lately. That's because what you are hearing might be the call of El Tunche, a demon who wanders the forest, protecting the wildlife and condemning those who would harm it. If you haven't done any damage to the forest, then he'll probably just scare you off. But if you have, you might as well start running. By calling out, the demon is trying to entice you to whistle back and reveal your exact location to him. If you do so, El Tunche's call will grow louder and louder, following you wherever you go. Eventually, it invades your mind as you sleep, drawing you into madness. I think that's a good enough reason to start being a little bit kinder to our natural surroundings. Number 1, El Lobizon. A widespread legend across South America is that of El Lobizon. It is a werewolf-like creature that can be seen walking on all fours and also on its hind legs. Different from Western and Hollywood interpretations and depictions of werewolves, El Lobizon is not created through a bite, but instead born. Any 7th son that is born in an unbroken line of boys will become the creature, usually transforming around their 13th birthday. The stories have caused people to abandon, give up, or even kill their own 7th son. Every full moon, the boy will transform into the wolf-like creature, hunting down prey with unmatched speed and endurance. While just a legend, with a place as vast as the rainforest, who knows if El Lobizon isn't hiding in those darkest hidden corners.
Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have the peanut head bug. Of course, there is a scientific name for this bug that certainly makes it seem more sophisticated, but the peanut head bug definitely sounded a lot more fun. These guys love to live in tropical forests and can be found in Mexico as well as both Central and South America. Okay, so there's a few crazy things going on with this bug, so let's start off with the elephant in the room, which which would be the peanut head. This bug reaches a length of up to 85 to 90 millimeters, with its head being as long as 10 to 15 of those millimeters. Other than being shaped like a peanut, this bug has false eyes that resemble that of a lizard or a serpent, which of course acts as a deterrent to predators. When being attacked, this bug will also spread its wings, which will then display another yellow pair of much larger false eyes, as well as releasing a terrible smelling substance. I feel like all of those traits have definitely qualified this bug to be on today's list, but let's just add one more for good measure. These bugs will also knock their heads on a hollow tree in order to create vibrations for mates. Okay, now I'm really done talking about the peanut head bug. In our number 9 spot today, we have the walking tree. Okay, so these trees got their name because of a myth surrounding them that would suggest they are able to walk. I mean, extremely slowly, but that's what it would seem. As cool as that would be to imagine trees roaming around the forest floor while humans aren't around, these trees aren't actually walking, of course, but what is happening is still pretty cool and definitely worth talking about. Basically, these trees just have a really amazing root system. Firstly, these trees look like they're almost on some kind of stilts, which isn't necessarily the most usual thing to see, but it's just all a part of their roots. It isn't quite clear why these trees appear this way, and there have been many theories as to why, but none have been proven yet. The walking myth comes from the fact that it is believed that as conditions on one side of the tree improve, the tree will be more likely to be regrowing near that side and will allow the roots on the opposite side to kind of just die off. This of course could potentially lead to very minimally small movements over an extended period of time, but it still makes sense as to where the story may have come from. The trunk is used in the construction of houses and other structures, as well as hunting spears, and the inner parts of the stilt roots are used as a male aphrodisiac. This tree produces a yellow fruit which is edible as well. In our number 8 spot today, we have the Brazilian grape tree. Before I dive into this one, guys, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you're enjoying the video so far, because it really helps us out. This tree is a slow growing evergreen tree that features salmon pink leaves when it's young, before they turn green as it matures and gets older. That's not the only strange and interesting thing about these trees, however, as they grow their grape-like fruit right on the trunk, which isn't the most normal thing for trees. These fruits are purplish black and can be eaten raw, or they can sometimes be used to make jam. While this tree is very adaptable, in its preferred climate, this tree can flower and fruit up to 5 or 6 times a year. The most common diseases that affect these trees are rust, canker, dieback, and fruit rot. So while there's a lot about these trees that are of course similar to other trees in general, this one definitely has some unique features that landed it a spot here today. In our number 7 spot today, we have the zombie ants. Okay, this one might be small scale, but it is truly straight out of a horror movie. There's a type of insect pathogenic fungus that is commonly found in tropical forest ecosystems. This fungus infects a certain kind of ant, and once infected, this ant basically turns into a zombie. Good news is the ant doesn't suddenly go around eating others of its kind, but it is still being controlled and manipulated by this fungus. The ant will leave their nest in usual trails and head for the forest floor, which has better conditions for fungal growth. From there, the ant will then bite and attach itself to a major vein on a leaf and basically just stay there until it dies, which is usually around 4 to 10 days. During these days, the fungus will start to basically sprout out of the ant's head so as to be prepared to infect the next unsuspecting creature. Okay, that one might have been the grossest one on this list. In our number 4 spot today, we have poison dart frogs. These frogs do look kind of cute, but they apparently are one of the most toxic creatures on Earth. They can be a variety of colors from black, yellow, red, green, copper, or blue, and it all depends on their habitats and how toxic they are. These colors can help them to keep predators away, as it is a sign that eating them is probably not worth it, but if that's not enough of a deterrent, they've got a special weapon ready to go. It is said that the poison from one of these frogs would be enough to kill 10 adult humans, which is crazy. The name of these kinds of frogs came from the old tradition that the indigenous people of Colombia used, where they would cover the tip of their blowgun darts with the frog's poison before hunting. Aside from these guys being super small but super poisonous, another strange thing about them is that we don't actually know where their poison comes from, but at the moment it is believed that it may be their diet. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Hamza River. Many of us already know about the Amazon River, and in part 1 we talked about the boiling river, but today we have a much less well-known river that is actually super interesting, and that is the Hamza River. This river wasn't discovered until very recently in 2011. This river is actually roughly the same size as the Amazon River, so why wouldn't we know about it? Well, it's because it's located 4 kilometers underground. This river also isn't really a river at all, but more of a slowly flowing aquifer. Both the Hamza and the Amazon River are the 2 main drainage systems for the Amazon basin, and the pair forms a geologically unusual instance of a twin river system that flows at different levels of the Earth's crust. While the Hamza is considered slow and only has 3% of the flow that the Amazon River has, that 3% is still 46 times that of the Thames. I'm not gonna lie, I never thought I'd get excited at the idea of a river, but this one is actually pretty cool. In our number 2 spot today, we have the Tyrant King Leech. These disgusting creatures were discovered quite recently, and I wish we never even knew they existed. These guys have 8 teeth, and their discovery came after one was found feeding on the mucous membrane of a girl who had recently bathed in the upper Amazon. Unlike other leeches, these guys only have 1 row of teeth, but they are disproportionately large. These horrifying things do not drop off their hosts after feeding, but instead will remain attached for days or even weeks. Because these guys prefer the mucous membranes, they aim for areas like the mouth, throat, and nose. Because of their small size, they aren't easily detectable at first either, but once attached, they can grow up to 7 centimeters, so surely they'd be noticeable by then. I'm not sure if these guys or the zombie ant fungus is worse. In our number 1 spot today, we have the Amazonian giant centipede. Okay, thank God this is the last one on this list because I am so freaked out by all of these creepy crawlies we're talking about today. These centipedes are the largest centipede species in the world with the ability to grow over a foot in length. These gross things will prey on basically anything that they can, which includes other large insects, spiders, millipedes, scorpions, and even tarantulas. But because they're so huge, it also includes small lizards, frogs, snakes, mice, and even bats. They have crazy hunting techniques for the largest of their prey and have been known to climb to the ceiling of caves in order to get to the bats, which is both incredible and so scary. These things are also venomous, and while it hasn't been a common occurrence for humans to die from a bite, there is one recorded incident that took place in 2014. This incident happened in Venezuela, and a person passed away after being bitten by one of these giant centipedes after it had hidden itself inside of an empty soda can. There are a lot of dangerous things crawling around on the forest floor of the Amazon, but this one might take the cake on being the most disgusting looking.
Starting us off, in at number 10, we have the boiling river that is over 100 degrees Celsius.
It's getting much hotter. Turns out this place is real.
Here's the boiling river. This part pretty hot.
If you fall in there, you would be cooking yourself. This river is also called Lambamba or Shene Lemishka, which means boiled by the heat of the sun, although some of the heat is actually geothermal. And it is known to be the only boiling river in the world. Andres Russo is a geoscientist, conservationist, author, science communicator, and educator who became the first scientist granted permission to study the boiling river of the Amazon back in 2011, so that was pretty recent.
Imagine a river, hot enough to kill you, said to be the home of a powerful Amazonian water spirit. That place is real, and I've been there.
From the boiling waters of the Amazon to now a water lily so big and so strong it can actually hold up an average person's weight, well, this mammoth of a lily comes in at number 9. The lily is called Victoria Amazonica. It is known as the largest of the lily family. One thing we know about the Amazon rainforest is that it has a very unique climate and it has a lot of rainfall, which makes everything a lot bigger, including this lily pad. I mean, aren't these things just for frogs? This can probably house like the world's population of frogs. Okay, maybe not, but you guys get the point. This lily pad can reach up to 3 meters in diameter. And just like that, number 8, we have the Jesus Christ lizard. Is this real life right now? Who is naming these things? These Jesus Christ lizards have the capability of running on water, and it's pretty amusing to watch.
So I'm about to show you guys what these lizards are capable of by...
Moving into number 6, we have the frog who has nothing to hide. We're talking about the glass frog that is commonly found in the Amazon rainforest. These glass frogs are transparent. You can see everything inside.
They're typically characterized by their skin, which is so translucent you can see their organs. For scientists, this latest discovery is a good sign.
I think it's so creepy. Imagine them were all translucent and you could see everyone's insides. I mean, that would freak me out. I wouldn't want to know what everyone's eating. We actually have another animal and another frog on this list. There are so many frogs out there. Doing the research for this, I was like, wow. Moving on to number 2, we have the indigenous tribe who live in the Amazon rainforest. I've been so fascinated with this. I really have been. There are about 400 to 500 indigenous tribes. They are very isolated from the outside world. In fact, they have no contact with the outside world. The Yanomami tribe is the largest tribe in the rainforest, and they have about 20,000 people, and they live near the border of northern Brazil and southern Venezuela. Many other tribes only have about 20 to 30 people in it. In these tribes, there are 180 different languages spoken. I just think it's so crazy that, you know, we're all living in 2019, but we still have people in the world who are living in the Stone Age. Like, to those people, we are from the future, or we are what they call aliens.